Hello students, today we are going to discuss the next topic, that is adjoint and inverse of a matrix. That is determinants. Using the concept of determinants, we will be finding the inverse of a matrix, and for that we need adjoint of a matrix. So let us first define the adjoint of a matrix. The adjoint of a square matrix, which is written as A is equal to Aij, which is of order n by n. Clearly, the matrix has elements of the kind Aij and is of order n, is defined as the transpose of the matrix n by n matrix having elements capital Aij. That is where Aij is the cofactor of the element capital Aij. That is, what we do is, first of all, we are given any matrix, we find the cofactors of the corresponding elements, replace each element by the respective cofactors. That gives us the cofactor matrix. We find the transpose of that is, we interchange the rows and columns of that matrix, and the matrix so obtained would be called as the adjoint of a matrix. That is, let A be given as this, that is, it has elements of the kind small aij, which can be written as this. It's a 3 by 3 matrix. Now adjoint of this would be transpose of the cofactor matrix. Now what is a cofactor matrix? Every element replaced by its respective cofactor. So whatever is a position, that cofactor of that element only is written in that position. Okay, so when you find the cofactor of transpose of this, what do you get? The first row becomes the first column, second row becomes the second column, third row becomes the third column, and this is called as adjoint of A. Or we can directly write the adjoint of A as every element you find the cofactor of each element, then the cofactors of elements of first row to be written in the first column, cofactors of elements of the second row to be written in the second column, and cofactors of elements of third row to be written in the third column. Now for example, let us take a 2 by 2 matrix. A is equal to 2, 3, 1, 4. We find the cofactors of the of each element. Now adjoint of A would be transpose of now every element to be replaced by its respective cofactor. That is 4 to be replaced with 4, 2 to be replaced with 4, 3 to be replaced with -1, 1 to be replaced with -3, and 4 to be replaced with 2. Then the adjoint would be transpose of this, that is 4 minus 3 minus 1, 2. Now let us take up certain results on adjoint of a matrix. First theorem says that if A be any square matrix of order n, then A into adjoint A is equal to adjoint A into A is equal to determinant of A into I, where I is the identity matrix of order n. So let's take A, then adjoint of A would be what? The cofactor matrix and the transpose of it. So the cofactors of this to be written in the first column, cofactors of this written in the second column, cofactors of the third row written in the third column. So this is the adjoint of matrix, adjoint of A. Now when we find A into adjoint of A, what do we get? First element, first row, elements of first row get multiplied with elements of the first column. So A11 with the corresponding cofactor plus A12 with the cofactor plus A13 with the cofactor, and as done earlier, this is nothing but the determinant of A. Any other row when applied to the cofactors of other rows comes out to be 0. So this is the first row, but cofactor of the second row 0. Then the next element would be first row, cofactors of third row, again 0. Similarly, we get only in the diagonal positions you get determinant of A, rest all you get zeros. Now this being a matrix, you can take out the common element. Since determinant of A is a scalar, can be taken out, and you are left with the identity matrix. And so what we get is A into adjoint A is equal to determinant of A into I. Similarly, we can show the same result is obtained if we multiply adjoint of A with capital A. Now As already discussed earlier, we now give the definition of singular and non-singular matrix. We have already studied earlier in the previous video that a square matrix A is said to be singular if its determinant is 0, and it is said to be non-singular if its determinant is not equal to 0. Now let's take up the 2-3 more results without proof. So what do we have? Theorem 2 says that if A and B are non-singular matrices of the same order, then AB and BA are also non-singular matrices of the same order. This is one result, that is, in case A and B are non-singular, the product, whether you are finding AB or BA, they are also non-singular and of the same order. The next result says that the determinant of the product of matrices is equal to the product of their respective determinants. So it's an important result, that is, whether you first find the product and then the determinant, or you first find the individual determinants and then find their product, result is the same. Where AB and BA are where A and B are square matrices of the same order. Now we are going to take up another very important result, that is, and for that let us start step by step. Now let's first find, we know that adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into I, which can be written as this. Let's take the determinant of both sides. So determinant of the left side is equal to determinant of this side. Now we can take out determinant of A common, and this becomes determinant of A whole cube into, then you are left with the identity matrix determinant. And how do we get that? Since determinant of A is a scalar quantity, some constant term, and we know that any scalar multiplied to a matrix will be equal, and when you take the determinant, you can take out that scalar raised to the power the order of that matrix into the determinant of that matrix, and so we get determinant of the product of determinant of A and I is equal to determinant of A, which is a scalar, raised to power n, which is the order of I, into determinant of I, but determinant of I is 1, and so we get here adjoint of A into A whole determinant is equal to A cube into determinant of I, which is 1, and this can be written as determinant of adjoint A into determinant of A, because determinant of AB is equal to determinant of A into determinant of B. Now 1A determinant gets cancelled with 1 here, you are left with only determinant of A square. So we get adjoint of A, when you find its determinant, it is equal to square of determinant of A, but A is of order n 3, and so we have got the power as 2. We can generalize this result for a matrix of order n. We can write determinant of adjoint of A is equal to determinant of A raised to power of n minus 1. It's a very, very important result, and usually 1 or 2 markers are asked on this result. Now let's take up the next result, that is, a square matrix A is invertible if and only if A is non-singular. It's a very, very important result. So let's prove it. Okay, so let's take that non-singular is now let's take an invertible matrix of order n, and we have to prove that A is non-singular if it is given to be a invertible matrix. So we have considered A to be an invertible matrix. Now, so what do we get? If it is invertible, it means that there will exist a matrix B such that AB equal to BA is equal to the identity matrix. That's the definition of invertible matrices. And so what do we get? Now let's start with AB equal to I. AB equal to I means you take determinant of both sides, then by property this gets split, so determinant of A into determinant of B, and determinant of I is 1. And clearly, if the product of two determinants is 1, clearly none of them can be 0. So it gives us that determinant of A can't be 0. It means A is non-singular. That is, being non-singular is a necessary condition for the matrix to be invertible. Now let's prove that it is sufficient. So what do? So conversely, let A be non-singular. So we have to prove that then A would be invertible. So in order to prove that, what do we have? If A is non-singular, determinant of A is not equal to 0. Now we know that A into adjoint A can be written in both ways, is equal to determinant of A into I. But A is not non-singular, so you can divide this by throughout by determinant of A. And so we get, this gets cancelled, you're left with I. So ultimately what do we get? Something of the form A into B equal to B into A equal to I, where B is adjoint A over determinant of A. And so we say that A is invertible and the inverse is given by 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. And this gives us a very important result for finding the inverse of a matrix, that if A is a non-singular matrix, then A inverse can be found out by adjoint of A upon determinant of A. Using this result, we can find the inverse of any given matrix, whether it's of order 2 or of order 3. So we can do the exercise 4.5 easily. So let's take up one of the questions as an example, and then you can try out the remaining questions. So let's take up question number 6. It's a 2 by 2 matrix. The matrix is -1 5 -3 2. So first step involved is checking whether it is non-singular or not, because only if it is non-singular it will be invertible, else it won't be invertible. So when you find the determinant, you get it as 13, which is not equal to 0. So A is non-singular and hence invertible. Now we find the cofactors, because we have to find the adjoint of A. Cofactors of every element, and the adjoint of A would be cofactors of the row 1 and cofactors of row 2 written in first column and second column. So A inverse would be 1 upon determinant A into adjoint of A, which is 1 upon 13 into 2 minus 5 3 minus 1. You can either leave it like this, or you can take this 1 upon 13 inside and write the answer as 2 upon 13 minus 5 upon 13, 3 upon 13 and minus 1 upon 13. Likewise, you can do all other questions of exercise 4.5. Let me take up one very important question of exercise 4.5, which is question number 18. Okay, we have to find the value of determinant of A inverse. Okay, so since we have to find the value of determinant of A inverse, we know that A into A inverse is equal to the identity matrix I. Okay, so now if you take determinant of both sides, we get, now by property of determinant of product, what do we get? Determinant of A into determinant of A inverse is equal to determinant of I is 1, and which gives us determinant of A inverse is equal to 1 upon determinant of A, and so the B part of the answer is correct. So this way you can try out the other questions also. Thank you.